Frank, you're muted. I can't hear you. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, wow. Wow. There she is. And I'm here typing.
I saw.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Oh my God. You'd have given me some advanced warning. Now let me put powder. Hello.
Hi. Okay, real quick. Should I have my book?
You can have it for the sake of paparazzi, but it's book club. We have read it.
Okay. Sorry, the name. This is my work Zoom. So that's not my name. That's my coworker's name.
I would not believe that anybody would believe that's your name, but welcome to the book club. Wow, there are so many new faces here. All of a sudden, everybody wants to be a member of the Indulgent Bibliophile. Okay.
Please.
Frank, what is your real name?
Francesca Ekwuyasi.
Oh, Francesca. Yeah.
Did you? Oh, because it's not her name. Oh yes. Everyone, the author has joined us. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I
just welcome. The name.
I do not know it was only me that had that face in my head. Okay. Hi everybody. The author has joined in for the book chat. So we're about to start. Wow, this is the first time we'll have 20 people at the time. Damn. Okay. Welcome new people. No, I'm shy. It's the 10th time doing this. I never get used to it. Welcome, Francesca. This is the Indulgent Bibliophile Book Club. We read your book this month and everyone is excited to chat with you. I have chatted with you, I think like 500,000 times. So I feel like I've almost exhausted anything I might have to say. So my work here today will be to curate what everyone has to ask. So we know the drill, everyone. Mute your mics, well, except the author. Mute your mics. If you have any questions, just raise your hand on the raise hand thingy, and or you can put your question in the chat room in case you forget if something is happening. Yeah, are we cool? Are we good to go?
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me here. That's all. Thank you. I really, really, really appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
Also, I'm at work. One of my favorite jobs, but I'm in the downstairs storage. But this is where I work.
Oh, okay. Is that a bookstore?
It's a bookstore and it's a sex toy store.
That is so that's very on brand. Okay. Oh, all right, everyone. Where do I start with? Okay, I'm going to start off with the general book club questions, and if anyone has questions to ask, please just raise your hand and I will stop at any time. Okay? All right. So welcome, Francesca. I think it is full circle that you are eventually joining us for book club, because I discovered your book in February and that's when I fell in love. So it's been a minute.
And since then, you single-handedly marketed my book back when then. I'm so happy.
Well, soft work. So let's start from the beginning. What inspired Butter Honey Pig Bread?
I think I just wanted to write about twins and write about an orphan who chose to stay alive instead of, fulfilling its cycle of birth and death, in childhood. I wanted to explore relationships, like what happens when extremely close relationships are severed. Like how do we find healing after that or reconcile. So those are just some themes on my mind. And I think it was just very much informed by what I was reading at the time. You know?
What were you reading at the time?
I was rereading Teja Cole's Open City. It's my favorite of his books so far. I was reading Ben Okri's Famished Road. This old collection of poetry, I don't know what it's called, but it had Wole Soyinka's poem Abiku. And another book, one day I'll remember the name. I remember the entire plot, but I don't know the name, but it's an Australian author, and it's all epistolary fiction. So the whole novel is just letters between friends, mostly letters from one friend to another, from one person to her friend who was missing. I really loved reading like storytelling, like a story unfolding in that way. Yeah, it was the same time I actually was reading Americana. I think it was relatively new. This was in 2013.
Oh, okay.
My brother, I asked my brother to buy me Americana from, I don't know if it's still there, but do you know that shop in Lekki, Ebano?
Yes,
Prince Ebano.
it's still there. It's there.
There's a paperback copy of Americana. I hadn't read it, so.
Was it a Farafina edition?
No, actually, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so very informed by the things I was reading, the themes that were coming up, and just things I enjoyed and still enjoy. So relationships, death, grief, and like healing, you know, forgiveness and moving forward. Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like everyone knows. Does everyone know how long it took to write this book? It took like 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took 7 years to write this book. She started during NYSC. Like the ideas. Wait, did the idea start for me during NYSC? So you started penning it during NYSC?
Both. Yeah, because I was in Shagamu for boot camp. So I was thinking about it and reading, and I started writing. And it's funny, the original USB, because my computer crashed. So I was using my brother's computer, but stored it on this USB, and I lost it. So I had to start again. It was okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it started, really. And I told my friend, I had made a new friend. She's an artist, and she was visiting Lagos from Brooklyn. And I told her the entire story. I told her my vision for it, and she really encouraged me. So last year when it came out, we hadn't spoken in a while. When it came out, I was like, just so you know, I don't know if you remember our conversation, but this is I did it. It was really such a gift to be able to do that. Yeah.
That's sweet. Okay, so I'm just going to dive into Kambiri Nachi now, because there's a pending question I saved from someone who DM'd me one time that what was the relationship between Kambiri Nachi and Kenneth? It's almost like we missed it. And then I did a third reread, and I know I did not miss anything. So this is the concept I came up with, that Kenneth knew Kambiri Nachi in a past life. Am I right or am I right?
You're not wrong, but you're not right. Because I really like, I like not knowing. And so Kenneth just has something. I don't know. He's convinced he knows her. He's attracted to her. He doesn't know what to do about it, but their lives just move on. Yeah, so there's like, I had a whole backstory, but it ended up not being necessary, you know, because even the backstory left things unsaid. Like, I think he just like kind of was in love with her, but didn't know what to do.
I'm thinking he was a soulmate from a past life. Does anybody else have any like theories about Kenneth's attraction to Kambiri Nachi? Anybody? Yes, it was Dayo who asked me this question. Yes, Dayo. She was the one who asked me the question in the DM. Anybody? I move on. Okay, Lola. Were you raising your hand?
Or I
Okay.
was
Okay.
in real life. Sorry. Hi, I'm Francesca. So I'm thinking Kenneth maybe is Abiku as well, and probably they've passed each other. Well, sort of
Oh, like on the
maybe
spiritual
Abiku
streets.
brethren. Yeah. So there was that recognition that we're both. That was my thoughts when nothing
Yeah.
was explained.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that as well because there throughout Kambirinachi's story, there are parts where she's like, I don't recognize, do I know you from before? And so things like that, where she's trying to figure out how to place people she finds familiar. That was also one of the things that I had as a building block. Kenneth not really knowing his self, like because the thing about Kambirinachi as an Abanje who chose to like stay alive or whatever is that she knows who she is. But I don't know, I don't know that much about like other like like mythological spirit beings. If like when you're born, you know who you are. Because like in Igbo cosmology, even like human existence is cyclical. So we exist in a circle, so we die and are born again. Like that's the belief. And I don't know entirely, I'm not sure entirely, but I think in Yoruba as well, because my mother is Yoruba, my father is Igbo. So a lot of my learning is just patch, but but like the name Babatunde means father has come again. So there's that belief that elders who have died come back again. But it's a human thing according to Igbo cosmology that we fulfill this cycle, where like, Obanjis don't necessarily, it's not the same way as us. They don't reproduce, so it's not they don't mix their lineage with human lineage. But Kambirinachi did that, so then her perception is altered. She has a conversation with death at some point, and death is like, "Oh, you're an abomination. Like you've gone and like behaved in a way that's not
Natural.
like not natural. Like you had a human lover, a husband, and now you have these like children what are they? They're straddling that line as well. So Kenneth was one of those like, where are you from? Like what's your own journey? But yeah, it didn't make it into the final draft. Yes, I like mysteries.
Interesting. Okay. A lot of people when they were reading this book, it has become a compliment. It's not bants anymore. But the most consistent sentence in most reviews is people can't believe that this book is a debut. And I get it because debut novels have this, there's a chance that when you read it, it's like, I can see this person is trying, they gave it their best shot. It was okay, it was all right. We'll read the second book. But this one is like, I came in hot. Like, this is me. Like, what else do you want? Like I am here and I'm hot, I'm dropped. Read me at your own. I mean, what am I? Oh my God, it's the wine. I was about to start rapping at that point.
That's such a compliment. Thank you.
but yeah, you're getting ahead.
I so appreciate that.
And I think one of my favorite parts of reading this book is the narrative tug of war, because there are 3 different points of views, and you wrote them with completely different styles. Kehinde has a style, and then there's the letters. Taye is giving us like life from her point of view, and then Kambirinachi's part, which it gave me such immense joy, because the style you used to write Kambirinachi's part is a style that I've dreamt about using, but the spirit of laziness will not allow me to move forward and write. So when I saw it, especially in the last part, bread, my mind just like what? Everybody has, okay, not everybody has read the book. Christine, I don't want to judge spoilers, but at this point, it's book club meeting, so I have to say something. I'm sorry. But the last part, when
I know that there's going to be spoilers when I don't finish the book.
Okay. So the final
and
part.
I didn't mention, by the way, Francesca, I didn't finish the book not because I don't love it, because I absolutely do. I'm just bad at time management.
No, it's a slow. I mean, I think it's to be read slow. It was written slow, so I think it's to be read slowly.
That's your own personal opinion. I'm sorry, but the book just went. It just went like Ogono, just. But yeah. So what you did in the last part of this book, just I don't think I have seen it anywhere. Probably in your reading, you've seen that style, but it's a style that I just used to fantasize about. I didn't know anybody had done it. So in my own head, you're the first person to do it in a book. Until I find any other book that was published like earlier, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, kudos for you. What inspired the choice to do the three different writing narrative styles for the three main characters? What inspired that? What were you reading? Did you do any MFA courses? You know,
Oh
because it's
no.
very technical.
No.
Like it's a very technical song. You put skills. Oh my god.
Honestly, I think it was just. Did you read Babysitter's Club when you were?
Yes. Yes.
Was the chapter split up according to who was speaking, or did I imagine that?
Yeah.
I think
But the thing is you didn't just make it like different narrative style. You picked. It was personalized to each person. Do you know? And it
Yeah.
wasn't like personality based style. It was like technique style. Because there are some, if it was like different POVs from the language and the speak, we know who is talking. Yeah. But this one, you use completely different styles of narrating. So
Yeah.
this is just above just ordinary POV. You know, what inspired that?
I think it was really important because I was writing about twins, and also because I didn't really know who the twins were until I started. I was writing them into being. I needed them not to get mixed up. So yeah, I needed them to like think differently and have that show. And in one way, like I tried to do that by having them have different body shapes. So one of them is thinner, one of them is like softer. One of them moves more like boyishly, the other one is very femme. But we all have different ideas of, you know, those things aren't objective ideas. Like thin to one person might not be, you know, fat to one person. So I wanted it to be more distinct than appearance, because I don't actually care too much about writing appearance. That, I mean, doesn't, it's great, but my favorite things are when I have a picture in my head, and then when I watch the movie, I'm like, that's not the character, but like, nice try. Because the picture in my head is more important. And I wanted that for readers as well. Like, however you see them, like there's some basic things, like they're Black women. One is like kind of thinner, one is softer. But beyond that, it's up for, and like one has a scar, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I wanted their difference to be more than appearance and more than like overt experiences, because they're also doing very different things. But I just needed to distinguish them. And editing was very helpful for that. You know, there are parts where my editor was like, this part is Thais part, but it reads like Kehinde, even though the tense is different. So that was really helpful. Editing is where I think a lot of the polishing happens.
How many editors did you have?
Just the one, just the editor that was with the publisher.
Okay.
So after it was, you know, these are notes she gave me. But also I wrote them all kind of standalone. And then together. Yeah. And on different times. So even, yeah, that's kind of what happened. I pieced the story together like a puzzle, but they were standalone. So yeah, so they maybe we just felt like different short stories combined. Maybe that's why. But the thing is, yeah, like you said, I didn't learn writing formally, so I don't know the right terms. I just know like the effect I want to have. Like I know how I want the reader to feel, or like, you know, the feeling I want to invite them to, whether or not they want to step in. You know. I also wanted to say something else. I'm using my phone for this, so I can't see everyone. I just want everyone to know, like, I can't see everyone.
Okay, that's fine. For some reason, a lot of people have their cameras on hidden. I don't know if it is because of where they are. Maybe they're at places and they just had to listen in, or some people are saying they're not dressed up or something. My book club people they're divas sometimes. So
Fair
okay.
enough.
Wow, Ijoma, thank you for showing your face. Oh, then okay, they are shy. And it's very weird. Okay, we're book club people, we are all shy here. So this is the place where we're supposed to be shy together. Yeah. Thank you, Dio. These glasses. Damn. Okay. Hi, Dio. Hi, Farida. How you doing? Everybody's starting to show their face.
Thank you for writing this book, and I can't thank you enough for writing the book. And I know that our president has been hyping this book everywhere, and I'm so happy I read it. I read it twice now. I'm going to read it the third time. I'm looking forward to your conversation at Ake. Thank you for honoring us with your presence today. Thank you for sharing your gift with us. I'm looking forward to your next book, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dio certainly put pressure on her to reveal a little excerpt from the next one.
I can actually.
Give us some teasers, and when should we expect it to be out?
I have to finish writing it. I have to write more than one chapter.
Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, let me not hog the microphone. Did anybody have any favorite characters? Please put your hands up if you want to speak, so I can call you in order. Who were your favorite characters? Because there were a lot of characters in this book, and even the side characters, they left their impact in the book. So to those who have finished reading the book, side eye. To those who have finished reading the book, did you have favorite characters, or who spoke to you the most? Is everybody shy? This is the first time I'm not seeing hands up today.
Well, since nobody who actually finished, well, I'll speak up. I really do like all of the characters. Well, the main characters. Taye, how do you say the other sister's name?
Kennedy.
Kennedy. I'm sorry, I've got maybe white girl pronunciation. So I like the three main characters. I also really like Wolfie, at least so far. Seems like a decent guy. I'm both drawn to Taye, but I really love them all, so much. Did you say? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying Wolfie's a sweetie. And I was just laughing because lots of people really like Taye, and she's messy. she's a messy bitch, and people just love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, she's also queer, so I like that. She's relatable in that regard, or maybe the way that I would like to be if I did it again. But I'm only halfway through, so maybe I haven't gotten to some of the messiest part. I don't know.
Oh no! Okay, I won't spoil it.
Okay. Cool. You guys have put your hands down. Is it Mimo? Amy? Who is going first?
Yeah, I had my hand up.
Okay, yes.
My video is off because, as Millie said, we don't have our outside faces on yet. But my favorite characters, I think reading reading the book, I related a lot to both the sisters because I saw a lot of similarity between my sister and myself. We have a very small age difference and we were kind of raised like twins, but we are completely different people. And so I loved how I was just able to see that dynamic isn't just for the two of us, and it's like it exists and it's so valid, should I say? But I related most to Taye. I hope I'm saying the name correct. I saw a lot of myself in her, especially in the whole losing yourself in other people and in other things and drowning and then coming up for air and then drowning again. It was really beautiful to read her. I was very biased. So her point of view was one I kept looking forward to a lot. And I loved Wolfie as well. I don't know why when I got to the part where I was reading about Wolfie, I suddenly started feeling the ick towards the other man, the one who's in the picture currently. And I was like, you don't really match up. It's fine, but you're decent, but you're not Wolfie, so it's fine. Yeah, I think those are the characters I loved most.
Thank you so much. I love to hear that because I think that happens, right? Like you have this like super, super sweet love sometimes, and for whatever reason it doesn't stay. And then you have like a practical love that's compatible, that's good, that's reasonable, but always, and it's good, and you're happy. But there's that like, oh man, that I think maybe it's just like first time falling in love sort of thing. Maybe it's that simple. But yeah, I also really love Wolfie, and I vividly remember writing Wolfie because I was working at this hotel at the front desk, and I was doing a terrible job working because I was just writing. That the hotel had a restaurant, and Wolfie was a line cook, so I could see how kitchens ran, so that felt very like concrete. I could like watch and just write. So Wolfie sticks out to me a lot because I was seeing that sort of life. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Ejiro, your hand is up. I can see you. Ejiro.
I love that
Hi,
name,
Amin.
Ejiro.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that I'm with everyone, like my favorite character so far. I haven't finished the book. And I mean, I think I'm just going to blame you just a little bit because I expected book club to be next Sunday. And so when I saw your message yesterday, I was like, oh my God. I thought I still had a week. But anyway, I really liked Taye. I liked, I don't know, there was something about her that was very relatable. I could relate to her a lot. But ultimately, that scene with Kainde and Wolfie, just like after the restaurant and they're walking home, that scene for me was so great just because I lived in Montreal for 2 years rather. And I consider Montreal my home city in Canada because that's where I first lived. And that scene, it just brought the city back to me. And I was just like, oh my God, I remember. Like there were some places that were mentioned and I'm like, I know this place. Like physically, I know where this place is located. And it was just like the coolest thing. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. It was great.
Thank you for saying that. I love, Safia Atta's Everything Good Will Come is a book that I always reference because it gave me that feeling for the first time in my life. Like I was a teenager and I was reading this book and I was like, oh, I know what she's talking about, even though it was a different generation from mine, like, years before. But I was like, I know this world. And I think Chimamanda Adichie did that as well in Americana, not to the same degree, but to some degree. Like, I was like, oh, I know Jazz Hole. Like, I know what she's talking about. So that, and Open City, that was the whole idea of Open City, was this very annoying character that I do not like, but his whole experience of New York City. And I think either Berlin or Amsterdam, I'm not sure, somewhere in Europe, where the city became very much part of the story. So I'm glad that you got that feeling because that was my intention. And I went to Montreal for a few weeks just to like walk around and look at places and talk to people who live there. And it was really helpful because I had things that didn't make sense. Like I had Kainde living in Chinatown in Montreal. And my friend who's from there is like,
Oh
well,
no.
exactly. See, you know that because you live there. And my friend who's from there is like, well, if she's an international student of a certain age, she's not living in Chinatown. She's living
Definitely
in
not.
exactly. So that it was so helpful, like things like that, to make something feel like grounded in reality somewhat. You need to know what a place feels like and looks like and what people there actually do. Like when you read about things in Lagos and you're like, this person does not know Lagos. Like this person does not know Nigerians. This person is just making things up. Fiction is always making things up, but I feel less interested in writing where I can tell that it's through a lens of, it's like through like an outsider's lens in a way that's not helpful or like I'm not interested in. So yeah, so thank you for mentioning that. All that to say thank you.
My pleasure. It was great. Montreal is my city, so yeah.
It's my favorite Canadian city. I mean, I've only been to Montreal, Toronto, and Halifax where I live. So of the three, it's my favorite.
Yeah, Montreal is great, honestly.
But I just got back from Ottawa actually at 1 a.m. this morning. I got back from Ottawa and I had a nice time, but I don't like that city. No shit.
Why?
I was just downtown. I was downtown in a hotel across the street from the mall, so I don't know what it feels like. So I'm like, I don't know. Is it just mall?
Oh, okay. I know where you were.
Government building?
Ottawa is it's just filled with ministries and like students and civil servants. So it's a really, really small. A lot of people don't like it actually. The more people I speak to, the more I realize that a lot of people don't like Ottawa. But I don't mind it. It's just a small city.
Small and dry. Compared to Montreal.
No, Montreal is a city, but it's small. It just has that. I think one of the reasons I love Montreal so much is it has this very European feel to it compared to Toronto that feels very American.
Yeah, Montreal feels, and there's just lots of Black people, lots of West African and French people. So I'm like, very good.
Yeah, that is true.
Ejiro, why are we not seeing your face, Ejiro?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me try. I don't know what I would look like on camera, honestly.
Wow, really, Ejiro,
it's angled.
Really? Wow.
See, like I have my hair like.
My friend, leave that camera on. As we were saying about places and locations, I'm going to shade a book. Francesca, I get what you're saying about books grounding us with locations and things we know, but a book like The Carnivorous City by Tony Khan, it did it, but it overdid it, that the book was now looking like an ad with Google Maps. So I feel like you toed the line properly, because there's like, knowing places you get and then reading a book that is telling us about a pothole before you get to a particular junction, that one is kind of like, okay, we get it, the area, let's move on. You get it? So thank you for grounding us, but not overdoing it. Now,
actually, is that Carnivorous City like a Lagos version of Open City? Do you think the writer was doing an homage? No. Oh no, okay.
Because Open City, there's literary awareness. I don't know what was happening in Carnivorous City. My bad. For lovers of Carnivorous City, sorry, don't take
it's not me that said this. Everybody, it's not me that said it.
Oh, Millie, hi. Millie, your hand is up. Hello.
Yes. Hi everyone. This is my first book club. So I'm very excited to be here. Let me just a small footnote about Carnivorous City. I'm from Kenya, so I don't know Nigeria because I haven't been there. But that book was tiring. It was like directions to go to point X, Y, Z that I don't know. And that was not necessarily information I needed in my life. But let me continue to the question at hand. Who was your favorite character? I think not so much a character, because I think the characters were all so well fleshed out, even the secondary characters. I mean, I don't know whether it means anything for me to say well done, but well done.
Oh, so thank you. It does. It means a lot.
What I really enjoyed was Taye's and Timmy's relationship, and the fact that she I guess she got him back. Yeah, that I loved. And I guess what stood out for me about that relationship was it was just a solid friendship, no sexual anything, and just a pure solid friendship. So I loved that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Timmy is my favorite character. I love him so much. And like, there was a scene that very dramatically, I was like crying as I was writing it because I just felt for him. And like, I know versions of Timmy in my life. I know versions of like, just very open-hearted, like queer Black men, Nigerian men who have so much shame and fear and like, have experienced rejection from their faith and family. So that character was like an honor to write because I was really trying to stay away from like a tragic queer narrative. I was like, it's enough. We have enough. Every thing I read about like queer Africans or queer Black women is like, suffer, suffer. So I really didn't want that, but I also couldn't ignore the reality for many people. Which is like living in secret and having two identities to survive. So Timmy was like an opportunity to like write that reality, but as lovingly as I could, because he was just I love him.
There's a question here. Someone is asking, Francesca, do you have a culinary background?
And I mean, other than just loving to eat and cook, no, I just love it so much. I love food. But who doesn't? I'm always, when people say like, this person is a foodie, I'm like, but who isn't? Doesn't everybody love food?
Some people don't like. I'm living with somebody who does not like. My younger sister is not a joy at all because I like to cook. I like to experiment with different recipes. But my sister is like, it's okay. It's nice, There's no like, oh my God, this food bangs. Like, oh, this nice. It's like, it's nice.
I know what
it's
you
not
mean.
nice.
I know what you mean.
So no,
I know what
there
you
are
mean,
people
but don't
that
say I said it.
Yeah, there are some people that food is just like they are just eating to live, and I can't relate. So maybe that's why I love this book so much because see,
I mean, I'm telling you,
all the recipes are in yellow. What is wrong with this thing? All the recipes are in yellow. Can you see?
Yeah. I mean, your sister needs
deliverance.
To smoke a little bit. No, smoke a little bit, just a little bit, and then eat. And then, because I think what it does, it makes you focus on the delicious things in life, and then she can really taste food. That's what I think. But I didn't say anything. It's your sister. I don't know how she's an adult. I hope she's an adult.
Yes, she's very adulty.
But yeah, I guess those people exist. I don't know that life. I know the life of like really looking forward to meals, which is like that's how I know sometimes when I'm not doing so well and I need, prayer or whatever, is when I don't have an appetite, or when I'm not excited to eat. I'm like, oh no, I need to come back to myself because food is amazing.
Food is life. Okay.
We're so lucky. We're so lucky that we don't just like have to, how lions are just chasing antelopes and ripping their throats out. We can put salt, we can put spice. I'm very happy to be a human for that.
Anime, you have your hand up. Hello.
Hi everyone, my name is Anime. Francesca, I was just wondering on the subject of food. I was really curious about your choice to make it a central part of the story, from titling the book around food, basically weaving recipes into the entire book. Taya's decision to go from chemistry to culinary school. I was just wondering why you made that choice to make food such a central part of the story.
Yeah, so I think like just my interest. Like, I feel very lucky for this book because I just followed my desire fully. And food is, food, cooking, thinking of food, writing about food, looking at food is something I love to do. And similar to location, it's a way to ground readers in like their senses. It's one thing to just read, like she ate and then she went to work, and to read like what she ate and how it tasted and what it reminded her of. Yeah, I just really wanted to ground readers in their bodies because I love to read, and I had been at the time. Well, actually, no, not at as the process of writing it, I was looking for something that I could just really enjoy and not feel bad about. Like, I didn't want to read about trauma anymore. I wanted to read like a story that felt good, even though like there is trauma in the book. So I was writing my interest, honestly, and I wanted to feel alive and feel my own, like feel my body and feel my humanity, or like my aliveness as I was writing, and I wanted readers to do that. And it doesn't work for everyone. Like, some people want sparse words, some people want like, she ate, it was delicious, then she went to work, and that's great. Like, I don't. I want more, and so I try to write more. Thank you for the question.
Oh, somebody says, I really like Salome, what a babe. And the relationship between her and her son, 100%. Okay.
Listen, if you know Salome, introduce us.
As in, I need a Salome in my life. What?
Yeah.
I agree. So, Amy, you have your hand up.
Hello, everyone. This is my first book club too, so welcome, everybody. I love this book. But one thing I really appreciated so much is that even though there were so many different themes running throughout, and a lot of hard-hitting themes, it was not a book that focused so much on that, but it was the overwhelming feel of the hopefulness of life and what comes after that, which I really appreciated that, because some books you can have these themes and it can get bogged down, but the way you wrote it was such a beautiful way. So I just want to express my love and appreciation for all of those, because some of the things, it could have been hard hitting, but it was just so beautiful. But I loved Taye. She's also, I appreciated that, she had a lot of abandonment issues, and the way she overcame that and the processes that she took, to make her life full, even going through that was special, even though she had her vices, and, she used it, and then the way you explained it was so beautiful. So that's kind of why Taye is my favorite character, and her relationship with Sykes, what's her name again? Solomon was really good. And her son. Yeah, I love that relationship and the way it was described, and also non-monogamy. This is the first book I've come across that, so I was really impressed with that.
Oh wow.
That was not really a question at all, was it? Sorry.
Good. No, thank you so much. Thank you. That means so much to me. And I think, yeah, like you said, the thing about Taye, like, she has severe abandonment issues. And it's just like deeply lonely. And but again, I wonder who isn't. Not to be dramatic, I'm sorry. But I just feel like, I don't know. I'm just me. I just wonder, is everyone lonely, especially right now, right? Like with pandemic and some people in serious isolation. And listen, I'm so lucky. I live in Halifax, it's small. My experience of pandemic here is very different than people in big cities, people in Lagos, people, I'm still just so lonely. And I think it just, it like illuminated what already existed for many people. So I wanted to write about that through like a young person who is like seemingly attractive and by all accounts should have an easy-ish time connecting and being fulfilled. But everybody has a cross to bear. But with all that still, I like enjoyment. I'm Nigerian. We like enjoyment. So even with the last, I've wanted to show both. So I'm grateful that you see it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I do have actually a question about Taye. It's
Yeah.
the lady, her connection, because the lady seemed very different to the other spirits, and I'm just curious who she was, what happened, and why Taye could see her, and how they had such a strong, like the lady seemed to be Taye in some sort of respect. So
yeah. Yeah. So my grandfather was the kind of Catholic who would travel to see apparitions. I don't know if anybody else had that, but there'll be news that people in maybe Delta or whatever have seen an apparition of the Virgin Mary at this location. And my grandfather's the kind of man who would go. And that is such a, as I was researching, it's such a thing in the world. People are like, we saw the Virgin Mary on this piece of toast. Now this is an altar or whatever. And so I just wanted to do like a hyper version of that with a very lonely person who really needs a companion, and a companion that's unconditional, right? Not conditional on like romance or sex or even sisterhood, where there was a breach in trust or whatever, trauma. So this unconditional being that will love you. And Taye is the twin who is interested in faith and praise and thinks about God and thinks about the meaning and the purpose of life. And so it made sense that she would manifest this companion. So now, like, was it her imagination? Was it truly an apparition that was her friend? Was it like part of her mother's non-human spirits opening the door to other realms? It's all of that. It's my favorite thing about being a writer is I can just write anything.
I actually like that it's the queer writer, I say queer writer, it's the queer character that had the most connection to their faith in the book. Because because this part is always like, oh, you're queer, homosexual, you're not allowed, it's in the Bible, you're going to hell, blah, blah, blah. But this queer character is like so rooted in her faith, and she's not exactly like the most religious person, but she's very connected to her spirituality. And I really appreciated that, because it's like some people don't believe that those two can coexist, and like queer people actually do believe in God and love Jesus and all of the works. So,
and I think more and more there's just conversations about that, because like before people were coming out, like say for example in Nigeria, I'm not super familiar with queer community in Nigeria, but before people had the liver to say this is who I am, they existed. They went to church, just nobody knew, like they weren't saying anything. So this idea that like, I mean, across cultures, across time, across religions, like all kinds of people have existed doing all kinds of things. And I mean, the idea of queerness and faith is something that's of like particular interest to me. And I mean, was gracious enough to participate in a project I recently did about queerness and faith, particularly for Nigerians. Yeah, I think, and I've done like video interviews with other people, like white people, Iranian people, all sorts of people who are queer and who have a faith practice, Christian, Muslim, Baha'i, like all sorts. And I mean, they exist,
Ejiro, you have your hand up.
Yes, real quick. Unfortunately, I have to drop now for an appointment. I just wanted to say two things. One, just on the subject of queerness and faith. I feel like sometimes a lot of super religious people tend to think that, just because you're queer, that maybe God doesn't love you or something along those lines. But the way I look at spirituality is that it exists within each and every one of us, regardless of, and I feel like, especially regardless of what your sexual orientation is, I just think that that's like the most absurd thing to think that just because of someone's sexual orientation, then they would not have any spiritual connection or faith in something bigger than themselves. I just feel like that's completely ridiculous. Second, just out of the blue, the project you said you mentioned you did on fairness and faith, if it's something you can share, I would really appreciate that, because I do love to read stuff on that.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I have, I'm so sorry. The last thing I have to add, I just wanted to say thank you, because in the beginning of the book, I haven't finished it, but in the beginning of the book, where you start to hint at something that happened that caused the like the separation between Taya and Kainde, right? I was really appreciative when I got to the point and you told us early enough what it was, because I just feel sometimes some books will drag that out, and then by the time you find out, you're just like, so why couldn't you say this like 100 pages ago? So I really appreciate that, because I did have an experience with a book, and when and it was, honestly, it was actually about twins as well. And so when it was said, I was like, this is just for shock value. It doesn't add anything to the story at this point. So I really appreciated that it was like early on, and then we could get to know the characters more and get to know and understand their life, how their lives changed after the event, and how they have been, trying to maybe walk their way back into each other's lives, kind of. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, and that's all I wanted to say.
No, I appreciate that as well, because that was the point. Like, the story wasn't about this thing that happened to Kainde. That was just like one of many things that happened to the characters, and it's a particularly, my understanding, is a particularly common thing. So I didn't want the entire story to be built around that. I wanted the story to be built around this kind of emptiness, right, where the sisters were trying to come back to each other. That is the point of the story. So thank you. I actually had it earlier on, like I had it like the first section with Kainde, and my editor was like, maybe not, because I wanted to get it over with, because it's such a painful thing, and I didn't really want readers to have to like read only to be like heartbroken. But yeah, thank you so much.
Sure. Sorry guys, I'll have to go now. I just want to say a quick thank you, and I mean, as always, great conversations. Thank you, everyone.
See you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Okay, Christine, you have your hand up. After that, Sherry will go up to you.
Hello. Just kind of bouncing off of what Ejiro, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, said, but I'm only like midway through the book, and that trauma that Kennedy went through, and then also her piece with the miscarriage. I'm just thinking about like how this part that has been associated with like womanhood by society or other people, how this part has been a source of trauma for her twice. And then I think it's her who has the eating disorder too. And it's just, it just feels like something that is often seen. And I don't know what I have to say, but I am interested and excited to see like where that goes. And then with Taiyang, it's interesting to me how the first two like sexual experiences that I read about were with women who were with men, and how there's like this kind of boundary around that, because it puts like a limit on it, because we know that Isabella is going to go and get married, and I can't remember the name of the woman that she was like working under and staying with in France.
Elodie, yeah.
You know, how that is kind of a time sensitive thing. We know that she's going to leave and be with her husband. So I don't really know if I have like a real question, but only if you maybe wanted to talk about like that process and like what went into kind of, I don't know, your writing process with this.
For sure, yeah. So I'll start with Candy, like the trauma she went through as a child, unfortunately, heartbreakingly, extremely common, and the silence around it, you know, also very common. I hate it. I wish we would talk about it more and hold people accountable and tell children who are harmed this way that it's not their fault, because what happens is they think it's their fault, and then that can turn into things like eating disorders, right? Like wanting to have control of your body when it's been violated by, you know, it's been out of control. So wanting to, so that's where those two connect for me. Is like, yeah, she felt this out of control and then is trying to get control as a woman in the world. And so unfortunately, eating disorders are commonly about that, less about, you know, the stereotype is like, it's always like a thin woman who's starving herself, right? And sure, but like, it's not always. A lot of times it's like a woman like me, like chubby and big, who is really not happy with it and really wanting to regain control about something that happened in the past or something ongoing. So that was the connections for Kende around body stuff. And another thing is miscarriages are so common, and a lot of women just sit in silence and shame as if it's their fault, when it is so common. It is very common, and it's nobody's fault. Like, it is not the fault of the woman. It's not a failing of a body. It's literally common and heartbreaking and common. And so I wanted to write that too, especially, you know, like growing up in Nigeria, people just like sat in shame and misery and blame themselves. And well, they didn't just blame themselves, families blamed them, you know. Like, there's a lot of like, why haven't you had a child yet? Why haven't you had a son? And, you know, the old stuff, not so old for some people, but like the old ideas of like, if you don't have a child, but you keep losing, you know, infants, then your husband is well within his right.
It sounds like you have a robotic person behind you echoing your words. Your sound is, yeah.
Oh no, okay, I'll hold it like this. Is it better?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. Okay, give me 1 second. Should I leave and come back? Do you think that will change it?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, when she comes back, Sherry, you can ask your question.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to gush a little bit.
Oh, okay, gush away. When she comes, feel free to gush.
How's my crowd now?
Yes, it's better now. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
All that to say, I was just saying I wanted to write about what is real, what is common for lots of people. And I'm not here to demystify anything, but as a fiction writer, it's an amazing opportunity to basically write my own opinions. Yeah, so those are the things with Kende. And then with Taye, I don't know, our first dating and sex experience is always kind of sloppy and weird. You don't know anything, you don't have boundaries, you don't know who you are, you're just like, you like me? Sure. Yeah. And then that was it for Taye for a long time. I was like, oh, you like me? Okay. And eventually she had to learn, and like luckily she had people, you know, lovers like Salome to learn from, and friends like Timmy to learn from, like how to have a sense of self-worth and know that like when you enter into a sexual relationship or any kind of relationship, it's not always like what you can give. Like, it's not always about like, yeah, giving. It's more reciprocal and mutual. And yeah, I think it's totally inappropriate for like a program coordinator to seduce or proposition one of their like employees or students in there. I think that's so messed up, but it happens.
It is what it is.
it is what it is. And Ty wasn't upset by it, but she was young and naive. And there's a lot of subtle things like that that I wanted to illustrate where no one is saying anybody is bad. However, we can see that this isn't great. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sherry?
Yeah, okay. I think I'm trying not to fangirl too much. I just wanted to mention that I initially read this book as a library loan earlier in the year, and apparently I wouldn't stop talking about it. So my husband got me a copy, and since then I've gifted it to 3 people, and I even got my mom to read it, and she liked it, and that's saying something considering typical Nigerian mom. So she really liked the book, even though she said, "Why is there so much lesbianism?" But she really liked the book. I just wanted to say that I found Ty and Kende's relationship very heartbreaking. Like reading through the book and then getting to the part where they fully explain what caused that rift between them. And I just thought, I don't know, I think I cried a little bit because it was just so, I felt the helplessness. Like Kende must have felt betrayed by his sister, and it was the part that I really loved was when it was revealed that Tai had actually tried to help, even though she couldn't really recall that memory. She had actually tried to help Kende in her own way. So I thought that part was very well written. I thought that the relationship between them was very well written as well. You could really, off the pages, you could feel the pain, you could feel the betrayal, you could feel that regardless of all of that, they were still connected in their own way. So I thought that was really well written. And I wanted to say thank you because this is definitely my favorite book this year, like hands down. I think after I read it, I was like, Francesca has ruined me for other authors because this is absolutely crazy. So I don't have a question. I just wanted to gush a little bit because, yeah, this book really is something. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm going to cry. Thank you so much.
Please cry. I'll sell the tears. Cry, dear. Cry.
It means so much to me because I was so afraid because I was writing as one of the main characters as queer and writing about like, you know, just ideas of spirituality. And I was just remembering growing up in Lagos and how like that's not allowed. And so to have like Nigerians, to have women, to have all sorts of people say that they like it is so encouraging. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Millie. Okay, Millie, before you speak, IJ said I have to run off soon, but thank you, Francesca, for the experience that is butter honey cake bread. Thank you, IJ. We'll meet you in another book chat if you can come. All right, Millie, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the issue of Obanje. This is not something I understand well, I have to say. But I think that the way they were described in this book and the way the relationship between, is it the kin and Kambiri Nachi?
Yes.
It helped me understand it. I think this is a book that has given me, I think, the clearest understanding. Not that I've read many that cover Obanje, but I've read a few. And I think because it was just like the rest of the book, there's a softness in the writing. And I guess if there are technical issues, they're handled in, it's like, even a child, I think, could read this book and understand all the issues that are being explained. And like I said in my comment, I read Freshwater by Emezi, I think last year, and I was so confused. And I was like, is there something wrong with me? Is it that, what is happening? But after reading this book, I feel like I understand Freshwater a bit better. So I'm quite thankful for that aspect of the book.
Thank you. I can't see the comments because it's on my phone, but thank you so much. you know, I think if you grew up in Nigeria, you'd be hearing Obanje all the time. Like as a child, I was terrified, you know, like when any kid that misbehaved, they're like, oh, you're an Obanje, that child is an Obanje. When, you know, the term Obanje and that the specific idea I've written about is in Igbo cosmology. And I waited to read Freshwater until after I had finished my book because I was like, I don't want to be discouraged that someone else has written it under this theme. But because I grew up in Nigeria, because I'm Igbo, I got it, you know, I knew what they were referencing, I knew the traditions. So my account of the Obanje is fictionalized. The name and the cyclical dying and being born is true, like is accurate to the cosmology, but the language with the kin is fictionalized because I don't know. I think I'm hesitant to write, like, you know, what to some people is sacred knowledge, you know, like sacred spiritual knowledge. I'm hesitant to like put that in my fiction without citing my sources, you know, without all the research, without like rigorous academic research, particularly because I live in Canada right now. I didn't want white people to be like, oh, the African mystical, you know, because it's not that, it's specific Igbo mystical. But it is fictionalized and it is the most accessible language. I wanted people to understand who this character believes she is. I wanted people to be on that ride with her. And so that meant like, this is what she believes and this is what it looks like in her heart and in her, you know, in her mind. So thank you for that. Yeah, Obanjes are like fascinating. It's like a fascinating belief, and I particularly love the aspect of the kin because like the human loneliness that I keep wondering. I'm like, is everyone just lonely all the time? For the idea of the Ogbanje is like, no, they have each other. They are each other, you know, and that just feels like they're never alone. And so it was painful for this character who was like, no, I want to be with the humans, and her kin are like, nope, we're not allowing this. We want you. We're together, you know. Anyway, that was a bit of a ramble, but yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we've gone over our time. It's supposed to be 1 hour.
I have to go back to work.
Yes, you are going back to work. So we're going to release you in a bit, in like 2-3 minutes. Thank you so much for joining the book chat.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm so encouraged. I love this job. It's a bookstore. I love my boss, and I have a different job. But I'm giving up my other job so I can focus on writing because the feedback to this has been so encouraging and has given me like the resources to be able to not have 2 to 3 jobs and maybe just have one and just keep writing. So thank you. Is what I'm trying to say very much.
That's exciting. Yes.
Imagine having one job.
Yes. Imagine you making this your only job. Just imagine that. That's where we're gonna reach. In the mighty name of Beyonce, we're gonna get there. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you.
We will go and continue our fangirling in the WhatsApp group. But thank you again for joining us, and I hope you have a lovely day ahead. And we look forward to seeing your chat with a certain person at Ake Festival.
A certain person.
Yeah, a certain person.
Thank you. Everyone be safe. Bye.
Bye. Goodness, that was fun. That was actually fun. Okay. So this is where we go and continue our noise making in the WhatsApp group. And I hope everybody who has not finished the book will be more gingered to go and finish the book now. So there's still 1 week. We can talk about the book. We can continuously talk about the book in the chats now. Feel free to jump your spoilers if you like, and if there's any more discussion. And any Ogbanje before you go, what does how far mean in greeting? Oh, how far? How far means a lot of things. Is there a Nigerian who wants to explain this? Because I don't know where I'll start from. How far means a lot of things. Lola, do you want to go?
Oh, me? How far? So it's sort of like, what's up? How you doing? It's so many things wrapped in one. If someone has told you something and you want to follow up, how far with that thing? You know, how far with your life? How far your parents? So it's like, hi, what's up? What's going on? What's the updates? It's so many greetings in one, but it's just
yes.
How are you? How is this?
Alrighty, guys. So I think we already know what we're reading in November, but I will put it in the group chats. But for now, it is goodbye and see you in the WhatsApp group.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, all.
Good one, Amin.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yay.